Hello, everyone, and welcome. We got some League of Legends for you today here on the SBU Esports page. My name's Kevin Broderick, joined by Tyler Kang. Tyler, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good myself. It's the first time we've gotten the
Oh,
privilege of doing League of Legends this year. Hopefully it's going to be a good game. It's SBU developmental team, so not the top roster that we have on campus, but hey, these guys are in theory fighting for a spot in that top 5, and well, that's a hard League of Legends team to crack into. But we're going to be watching them today against DeSales University in the Bulldogs. What are you expecting out of this matchup, Tyler?
I mean, looking for the Bulldogs record, they are 1-2 compared to the SBU record, which is 4-1. So in theory, we should be winning today.
Absolutely. And looking over towards their matchmaking over at their ranks, did notice we're hovering, I believe, around a Diamond 1 average between these two teams. So again, that's very high levels of play for both these universities, considering it's the secondary roster. So I'm really looking forward to that, as we should be getting into draft soon as well. Champions, we're going to be playing on the Worlds patch technically, although this isn't exactly Worlds.
20.25.
So what are you expecting to see from that?
A lot of AD jungle. I know AP jungle is not that strong anymore. Maybe Kiana. I could see a Kiana getting picked. I haven't seen any development game yet, so I don't know what the comfort champions are.
All right. And looking at the first couple of bands coming through, we have an Echo out and we have a Pantheon out. So getting some of that AD jungle out of the way. You know, the champion pool is getting pinched a bit from either side. What do you like as the first pick on blue?
I would like it. Oh, Varus. I was about to say Kaisa, because Kaisa is being picked in Worlds right now with a high win rate. So I expected a Kaisa, but Varus got picked for SBU.
All right, and so obviously responses to that, you could end up taking your own AD carry at this point. Still plenty of things to elect to. Mbessa out, as well as Zed, and the Sion getting picked in response. I've seen a whole lot of Sion being played on this patch. It just feels like a nuisance anytime you have to play against this champion.
Yeah, because he's a really big split pusher. A lot of macro gets in place. Let's see how Stony Brook will be able to attack the Sion with his split pushing abilities.
Now, one thing you do have to mention, maybe not the best protection will come in through the Sion. He might be let out to die maybe a few more times than he would want. This isn't exactly the Baus playing, but Milio picked in response for the support. Rek'Sai out. That's a champion that's been
jungle.
Flex picked a little bit, but the Aatrox to follow up, you know, you think that Rek'Sai probably going jungle.
Yeah.
Aatrox going top.
Picked.
Definitely could have hid that a little bit longer into the draft, but, you know, it is what it is. So Aatrox, obviously, great champion into Sion. You'd like to see, for the sake of Stony Brook, a few more melee champions to be picked here in order for Aatrox to truly get the maximum amount of value, as Caitlyn, obviously the AD carry, always going to be ranged. So it's Caitlyn Milio out for that support and AD carry combo into Varus. How do you like that matchup?
I do prefer the Caitlyn Milio. Obviously, we don't know the support for Stony Brook.
Yeah.
But Varus could go well with like Rel, Alistar. Any engage would be nice. There's no Poppy, but Milio can counteract any ability to go in.
Absolutely. Diana banned out in the jungle as well as Nocturne. So those pools are getting pretty pinched coming out for the jungler for DeSales. Or excuse me, yes, for DeSales. What do you think is a realistic option coming out? You think it's probably going to be an R5 or an R4 pick?
I would say, watching how this patch has been playing out, Jarvan does get played a lot. Jarvan and Kiana, and I think that's like the top 2 champions. But I know in Worlds right now, Jarvan does have a 0% win rate, even after getting picked more than 5 times.
Well, you would also imagine that he'd probably be able to get away with a few more ganks down at this level, as Seraphine going to be banned out as well as Ryze. So that R4 coming in now. We are expecting a jungle pick here. I probably would like the Jarvan, although you don't exactly like that into the Aatrox matchup, so maybe that makes you lean towards the Kiana instead.
There's also Xin Zhao open and Wukong.
Wukong, that's another premier one. We've been seeing a whole lot of that. Wukong, it's been popular for years now at this point. I mean, think about to the earlier days of League of Legends. It's felt like you never saw him play. Then you got that change to his ultimate where now he can recast it twice, get the knockup both times, and, well, apparently that's all he needed to be meta ever since.
I remember him being played top mainly.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the role swap to jungle, and he's been fantastic He's been a fantastic jungler. We saw him get played.
Ooh, a Vel'Koz. All right. So maybe a comfort pick coming out in the mid lane. We obviously are saving DeSales' mid lane pick until the R5. But Vel'Koz, a champion that's usually matchup reliant, so blinding it is a little brave.
Yes, there's a lot of counters to it.
Yep.
Let's see who the Bulldogs will be picking. This will be a support pick for Stony Brook, unless it's
It could be Vel'Koz support. Yeah, it
yeah.
definitely could be Vel'Koz support.
And it is a Vel'Koz support.
So Lissandra will come out in the mid lane. In theory, either of those champions could be played in support. Obviously, Lissandra a little less typical to be played in that support position, but the kit can go in there. You have plenty of CC between the root and between the ultimate lockup, obviously, as we're into the last pick of the draft. 10 seconds for the Bulldogs to round out this composition. You assume there's going to be a mid laner picked here unless there's some Scion mid shenanigans going on.
You can see a Galio getting picked here.
Definitely a Galio. Aurora. I would like that more considering you want to keep that distance, keep that range against Aatrox. Galio would definitely be playing into Aatrox's wheelhouse. So now with the full 5 in front of you for both sides, how do you think this opening, couple of minutes is going to go?
I think Stony Brook does have a lot of pokes, so in team fights, they will be able to poke out a lot of the Bulldogs champions, unless the Scion is tanking a lot of it.
Yeah.
But also, Aatrox has the ability to just Rek'Sai, Lissandra, and Aatrox. They all have the ability to just go in, just go ham. So I would like to see how this team fight will be going out.
And that's obviously where the Emilio does help out a little bit with that. To break that CC, that's going to make Lissandra's life a lot harder. And in all fairness, Stony Brook doesn't have a whole ton of instant engage. Really it is Lissandra that can just say, hey, I'm going to go in right now. Everyone follow up with me. Outside of that, maybe a Rek'Sai flash knockup could be another way to engage,
or even an Aatrox knockup.
Definitely an Aatrox knockup, but if you play the ranging around that, it's a little bit harder. Scion, on the other hand, can go and is unstoppable and will always find reliable engage. Wukong on top of that. You might like DeSales engage a little bit more because of that.
The Scion will definitely be trying to find for the Varus.
Yeah.
Try to go in, trying to get rid of the poke damage from the Varus and the Vel'Koz. They'll be playing really bad, the Varus and the Vel'Koz. So, but Caitlyn also has the poke damage to fight back against the Varus.
And the trap line. You always got to think about the trap line when it comes to these dragon fights and these Baron fights, because ultimately I think the Bulldogs can control space very, very well. I know Aurora not usually thought of as a space controller, but I do like it, honestly, to see when Aurora players use the ultimate before the fight really kicks off, just to get a little bit of poke damage in there, because Aurora can still fight well even without her ultimate.
We can also see Wukong just going in, trying to find for engage. And if that doesn't work out, he does have the ability to get back out, to get back to his team, back to the back lines.
So ultimately this game obviously has to be decided on Summoner's Rift if we're taking a look at what we expect this to be. Aatrox top for Stony Brook, followed by a Rek'Sai jungle, a Lissandra mid, Varus and Vel'Koz 80 carry support duo, Scion in the top for DeSales, and then Wukong jungle, Aurora mid, and a Caitlyn Milio combo. Haven't really seen the Caitlyn and Milio out a lot. How do you like that in terms of synergy?
I think the synergy would be okay. Caitlyn will be able to poke a lot, and even though the Varus does poke her back, Milio has the ability to heal the Caitlyn.
Absolutely.
So she should be safe for the first half.
And thinking about bot lane push, because obviously Caitlyn and Varus both like to thin out waves early on, get the push into tower. This early lane priority might be decided by the fact that Vel'Koz can also help Varus push the wave faster.
Yes, and it's also about the ability of Vel'Koz being able to push the Caitlyn and Milio back to the turret, make sure something them out, make sure that they don't get the CS that they need, the farm, and go.
Absolutely, as all these teams are going to get their players picked into the client, and then we will be into actual action. So we got a little bit more time to think about exactly what's going to go down. You assume the early game pressure will be put on Stony Brook's onus a little bit more. Rek'Sai can gank more efficiently and a lot better than Wukong can in the early levels. Do you think Stony Brook's going to try to lean towards that bot side or lean towards that top side?
I think Stony Brook should look towards the bot side. I think just having a fed 80 carry it's like the best option.
Yeah.
Especially the amount of damage that Varus could do in the late game. But also, if you gank towards top, if the Rek'Sai looks towards top, the Scion will be pressured out, and and then the Silence focus will now be more towards split pushing, getting turrets, making sure that his team has gold and has the turret advantage.
Absolutely. And to also think about it, Lissandra, not exactly a carry threat like the Aurora is. She'll likely be looking to roam as soon as she hits 6, and likely beforehand as well. But where do you think that first ultimate is going to go for Lissandra? Is it just going to be the lane that ends up getting more priority in the middle of the game?
Yes, I think it's just who has the most prio. But I could also see Lissandra just staying in lane, just trying to kill out this Aurora. This Aurora could get really strong towards mid and late game, and create fights.
Absolutely, as we should be getting into action in just a couple of minutes now. Again, we play a best of 3 for this varsity esports in the NACE League. So,
And it's
with that
important
in mind,
sorry.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
With that in mind, the momentum can be established here, but this game can't decide the match.
Yes. Also, we would like to point out that there is no fearless for this
Yeah.
tournament, for this game. So any of these champions could be picked again, which also opens up the ability of like, oh, if a certain player does good in this champion, do they want to play again or do they want to ban it out?
Yeah. That's absolutely important. And again, you look at comfort pits like Vel'Koz. Back in the old days of non-fearless drafting, especially in BO5s, you would often have to ban out players that had comfort picks that you just simply don't want to see them play. That could be the case here with the Vel'Koz. And, well, listen, when you have to spend a ban on a random pick like that, kind of feels bad because all of a sudden there's better, more higher priority, more broken champions, if you want to call them that, available for Stony Brook to pick. So the momentum can be established here, and Stony Brook definitely going to try to use that, as we're just waiting now for the spectator delay. So any more points you want to run through before we get on to Summoner's Rift?
I like to point out how the fight about like the first Drake fight. Obviously you want you want the fleet at the end of the day. So you need 3 objectives. So I think we'll be able to see a fight within like the first 10 minutes. At least one team fighting for the Drake, trying to secure the objectives so that the team could get a fleet, because the fleet could do getting better upgraded shoes would help them a lot, help each team a lot. But also the point of Otacon being added to the season, I feel like Otacon does give you a lot of advantage with the XPs needed, especially for late game, gold, and usually sometimes the Otacon could decide who gets the 3rd objective kill.
Yeah, 100%. As the whole point of those changes is to get more fights early. I feel like that's been Riot's kind of whole philosophy with especially the competitive side of the game, is to get more early fights and often. So these teams indexing into that slightly, obviously you always have to talk about the scaling advantage. If this game gets late, who do you favor?
I would say I would favor DeSales University.
Yep.
The Silence is going to be way too tanky, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's
going to be hard for Varus to get through that, especially if it goes lethality into more of a poke.
Oh, well, we also have to see how this Varus what this Varus will be building.
Yeah, obviously.
He has multiple ways that he could go. Also, I just like the killing damage at the end.
Yeah.
That crit damage could just one-shot Aatrox after stepping on a trap.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard to get through that trap line because, like we said, there isn't a whole ton of reliable engage for Stony Brook. They're going to be relying on flanks. That's obviously something that you have to be good at as an Aatrox player if you're not just playing into, 3 or 4 short-range, bruisers or tanks on the other side.
Yes.
All right, so we are now just a couple of seconds away for this spectator delay to kick in. Now I can ask you for your genuine final thought before we get into action.
I think this will be an interesting game. I could see this game being held up to like 30 minutes. I would expect some early skirmishes towards bot side, more towards top. No, wait. I would expect more skirmishes towards bot rather than top lane. But also I would like to see whoever has the early momentum, because if the DeSales have an early momentum, they could scale really easily and the game could end really quickly.
Absolutely. I think that's probably true for both of these teams. Again, the runaway damage is potentially there, as Getting a look at the summoner spells as well. Nothing looks too out of the norm for everyone. We do see a Comet over on Varus, so more than likely going to be going for Poke, and obviously Vel'Koz complimenting him with a Comet of his own. So this is going to be a very aggressive bot lane coming out for the Seawolves as we're on to Summoner's Rift now. So we can start to take a look at what Varus is going to be buying in the early game. It's just going to be a Doran's Blade in the one pot. Caitlyn as well, just going to be dying the Doran's Blade in the one pot. So the early poke in this lane will definitely stick for either side.
Who could out-damage the other person? I also like to point out that Chocopi does also went with Comet, so Stony Brook is running 3 Comets.
Yeah, a ton of early damage coming out here. Electrocute for generic. How do you like that from the Aurora, running an aggressive early game Keystone like that?
I think she should try and get like more advantages like early game. Poke out the Lissandra out, but also Lissandra with the Comet. If an ability does get hit, then this Aurora could be dead.
As everyone just spreading out over the rift so far, drawing the line in the sand as the minion wave starts to spawn. Not a lot of wards down on the map for early information, just one in the bushes down in the bottom lane for either side. As it looks like Rek'Sai will be starting over towards his own red buff. Same thing for Wukong on the inverse end.
Rock Phoenix did recall after showing up towards top, going back towards bot lane.
Could also see a lane swap in this game, in theory. Obviously, if one of these two bottom sides fall behind, they're just going to want to push on the other tower. And if Stony Brook in that point were to get an early tower, they definitely go to the top side just to continue farming those plates for more gold.
That will also stop Sion from split pushing a lot, especially in the early game.
100%. Now, Sion is obviously a very good champion to respond to a lane swap. That Decimating Smash can just clear out the wave very, very quickly. You don't exactly want to dive a Sion either into that zombie form. If things aren't flawless, you can be giving a kill back the other way, and then all of a sudden, Sion's unkillable. As we'll get our first couple of level 2s in the mid lane as well.
Scoot starting towards top side. Starting with his Krugs and now killing his Red. While we see Like starting towards the bot side, clearing out his bot jungle.
Kind of a lower speed clear coming out from Wukong to start off, and Beatless will go into the top side to get a ward onto the Krug, so he's going to be communicating that. We're going to get our first gank into mid as Blake will force that little hop away from the Aurora. So just a slow cooldown for her to come back. No sums used, that's the important part. Blake, in theory, could have used his own flash to force another flash in the mid lane, then re-gank it, but playing it passive for now. They should have a good read about where the Wukong is due to that top lane ward. Some trades coming out for Beatless, as he's definitely getting the better of the Scion so far.
It's also important to note that Boots was right behind Generic, so if Stony Brook did find an engager, Boots could easily come down and help out his minion.
As this push right now in the advantage for DeSales. As the flash, there's going to go on to the Scion, and he'll respond. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So Scion now the primary target for a re-gank in the top side. Expect to see it in the next couple of minutes, and Stony Brook might be able to get first blood out of it.
And it looks like he is coming back up right now as he's looking for an angle.
Tunnel over the wall, has the knockoff. This should be a dead Scion on our screen. First blood over to Beatless in the top lane. Stony Brook with some great Aatrox play to get him ahead. And listen, we made the point in the pregame, there's likely going to be reganks to come once Lissandra gets that frozen tomb up as well. Not going to be much Scion can do, especially without Flash. He's not a mobile champion by any stretch of the imagination.
It's also important to note that OB Kana is not using teleport to go back to lane. So he'll be losing a decent amount of as Beatless should be ahead now. But also Beatless is not recalling yet, hasn't recalled yet to buy more items. That first blood gold.
Beatless has plenty of time as the wave will bounce out in front of him. Could in theory just continue to stay there. It's just a Ruby Crystal for OB Kana, so it's not exactly like there's any advantage anyways. As as Obikana will land that decimating smash for a little bit. Beatless, not exactly in a concerning HP bar, because it's not exactly like this Scion has lethal just yet.
Yeah, all he has is like a little bit of tankiness with that Ruby Crystal. Great on now.
Generic with a solid poke right there onto Chocopie. He's at half HP. Both these mid laners nearing that level 6 mark, so Generic might look for an all-in at some point. Good poke from Hiding Hide, the hail of arrows over the top. But this Caitlyn Milio bot lane, they're getting the push. Lots of damage now onto Luke.
Caitlyn really low.
Yeah, but the heal is there.
No some by higher bot lane.
Remember, a lot of mana being spent by Stony Brook in order to get that poke down. If you look at German the Giraffe and Hiding Hide, they're both almost out. As 6 for Beatless could pop the World Ender. Just going to look for a couple more auto attacks. And Obikana, again, no flash. Halfway back on that cooldown. We're going to see a gank over to the bottom side. Wukong still no ultimate, so he can't knock anyone out. And Hiding Hide will just use the heal to remain out of danger. Gank coming over towards the midway. Frozen Tomb followed up and then knocked up. And unstoppable on the hop, but Blake is going to get his fangs right into Generic for a second kill of the game. Stony Brook up about 1,000 gold right now.
It's also important to note that Aurora Generic did not use flash here. So Generic still has probably TP to go back to lane as the wave is getting pushed in towards his turret.
Beatless has the World Ender to probably pop this onto Obikana. As Stony Brook now getting a chance to push this wave in. The Giraffe just down by 5 CS. That's not a whole lot of advantage, especially when he's looking towards the top side. And he can say, hey, my team already has 2 kills. I can go even in the lane, and we're going to be winning in this mid game.
The Killer does buy the BF sword and a boots. So let's see what German Giraffe will be about.
Should be able to about match that in terms of gold value. Does get the serrated dirt plus 2 long swords right there, so a whole ton of AD coming out for him. And we also get our answer about what build path he wants to go. 11.3 thousand gold for the Seawolves now as they're up by 1.4.
Seawolves does need more kills for the Speed of Warfare.
Beatless might be getting it here, or at least forcing out the ultimate for Obikana. Lots of auto attacks down. There gets the ult, and Beatless had his Qs coming back up. Not going to hit the first one as Obikana just had a second more of Unstoppable. But again, this is a very low Scion with a Rek'Sai already on the top side. This might be a solo kill as the sweet spot will land on the 3rd Q. Beatless picks up the 3rd of the game. And exactly to your point, just 1 kill away from that feat.
Void Rush should be fine soon, but the Drake is still up towards bot side. It'll be interesting to see if the junglers really want to fight the Void Rush or the Drake.
I wouldn't exactly think that the Bulldogs would want to go for a fight on the Void Rush, considering the lead that Stony Brook has established up here. The Drake seems more like a doable option for them, but there's 2 wards on the Dragon Pit for the Seawolves, so they're going to know, at least if they try to take it in the next couple of minutes. More poke coming out. German the Giraffe will step on a trap, takes a headshot because of it.
Like I mentioned during the draft, this is a poke versus poke.
Yep.
I see.
It's just who can outpoke each other the most. But the Bulldogs does have the healing ability.
German Giraffe still just sending out some more arrows to try to find that poke like you were talking about. Ultimates are online for either side, so Stony Brook should have a little bit more kill threat now. Obviously, that Lifeform Disintegration Ray will do more damage than the Milio would ever imagine doing.
Looks like the Bulldogs will be trying to look for Drake. Milio and the Caitlyn did go up, but no Drake being taken.
Flash out now from Scion. He continues to get bullied in this lane. Thankfully for him, Blake is not in the area for a gank there. Blake also having access to his ultimate just for a little bit more execution damage. I still remember when that was flashable. Remember that? It was flashable at one point in time, and then they changed it. Obikana just not having a good time.
the wave does get pushed towards Obikana, but Obikana just clears it instantly. Like you said before, the Scion Q could just clear waves.
The only problem is when you start lining up the decimating smashes, I have to hold that thought. We have an ultimate out on the bottom side. Rock Phoenix responds with the cleanse off the ult to keep his AD carry out of danger, but here's Beatless forcing out another unstoppable onslaught. Gets knocked up, a flash in the third Q one more time. Beatless picks up his second solo kill of the game. A response is down low for the Bulldogs as they'll pick up another kill, or their first kill. Make it 4-1 in the scoreline. Stony Brook up by 1.5 thousand gold.
The first Drake does go towards the Bulldogs.
Luke is low. 2 Seawolves are there. It's Blake and obviously German the Draft. Quite a mouthful of a name to say, don't you agree?
Yeah.
German the Draft. German the Draft now in danger. Barrier will save him, and Blake following up. Should have enough damage to take down this Caitlyn. Goes unstoppable into the tunnel. And the Claws this time get the Void Queen her second. Blake shouldn't be able to do anything over onto Rock Phoenix. Does get one more tunnel. Knockup not going to go through as that was still on cooldown. And it's just a little chip damage. Hiding Hide looking to see what he can do with the Vel'Koz. Some supportal combat. But Stony Brook just going to reset on the map. Beatless already with a completed item and a half now. He is up by so much against this Scion. 99 CS to 53 at 11:20.
Nothing out of it. I want to look for a spot where Stony Brook does have both flashes up. However, for the Bulldogs, only the Millia has a flash.
Almost Ghost Blade already completed for German the Draft, so he'll have a temporary item advantage. And he should be able to push this lane in much, much quicker. Stony Brook maybe finally finding an advantage down there. I do really want to see the Chains of Corruption maybe into that Lifeform Disintegration Ray. It's forward when Rock Phoenix has his ultimate. It's on a couple more seconds of the cooldown. As now Beatless will go all the way to proxy the wave behind the tier 1. And, well, Scoots can't do anything about it. He can't fight a 3-0 Aatrox at this point. He doesn't have Trinity Force completed.
Scoots still has 0 KP in this game. 0-0-0, while Blake does have 2 kills and 1 assist.
Do you think they're typing jungle diff in the all chat right now?
I think it'll be top diff.
Beatless with more trades onto Obikana. And again, for Beatless, a nice thing, obviously he's not going to be able to siege these towers against the Scion, but with the Void Grubs helping it out, it means a little bit more chip damage.
It also needs more tower play going towards Beatless.
We have 4 people hovering over towards mid right now. Blight is there for a return game. There's a question mark ping right onto Scoots. He might have hit that little control war that Stony Brook have deep into Bulldog territory. Beatless taking a tower shot right there and getting the worst of the trade. But Obikana can't do anything at this point. Beatless will just tank up those tower shots. I don't even think I've seen him pop the World Ender yet. He has 2 solo kills.
This is the early gold. He was able to buy his items really quickly. And he is 2 levels ahead of Obikana.
More chains landing. And those Void Grubs continue to dwindle this tower down in HP. Hover towards bot side from both squads. The turret plating is going to drop off, so that gold is no longer going to be available. As German the Draft, he's stepping up far. Going to get popped on from Thrug. Flash out. Wukong follows through. The Cyclone knocking up 2. 1 already dead for the Seawolves. They get a return quickly as Blake is in there now. He has some gold in his pocket. Gets the execute onto Scuts. And now he's trying to get the hell out of here. Hiding Hide. Can he escort his jungler? He can't. Shut down. Goes over to Luke, and that's a good trade for the Bulldogs. They go positive in terms of gold value.
So many abilities, so many ultimates being used, and Summoner spell. Bulldogs did maintain their only the Caitlyn class was not being used, but it was off cooldown. As the first turret gold does go to Stony Brook, and that means that Stony Brook has her fleet. So the 3 objectives does not matter anymore.
Yep. So Beatless, the difference maker in this game so far. Obviously, as a top laner, when you're looking, I'm 3-0 right now. I'm up 150 CS to 72. Guys, you don't have to make plays on the bot side. Let's win through top. As German the Giraffe, now sitting at 1-1-1, will start off his tier. 9 stacks on it right now. And Luke with a Bloodthirster out first. What do you think of that?
I think that's an interesting item to go for Caitlyn. As a Caitlyn player myself, I tend to go for the Infinity. No, I go for the Collector first. But I go for the Bloodthirster. I usually build towards like the 3rd, 4th item. It's not that important, but it's an instant take.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of damage onto Rox Phoenix. Supportal comeback will force a flash and heal away. Great setup from Hiding Hide, getting into the bush. Couldn't find the geometry, so the kill won't come through.
That's all mainly Hiding Hide's damage. If German the Giraffe was there, maybe he could find a kill towards this Milio.
Unfortunately, he didn't have flash to get into the Q range, so not going to find any 2-on-2 kill just yet. But Stony Brook with firm control of not only the top lane, not only the mid lane, but now the bot lane. Caitlyn with the Bloodthirster will be obviously able to eat up this poke and lane, but the question is how important is that going to be come team fight time when your entire roster is looking towards you to output as much damage as possible?
Generic and NC towards bot lane, but it looks like Generic and Chokai will be going towards their respective lanes.
TPs are available for either side.
You mentioned how Stony Brook could look for like a Rose lane swap, but that didn't happen.
No, they didn't need to.
Because the B-list was way too strong.
Oh, absolutely. You do not want to put your top laner who is smashing that lane into a worse position.
He's starting up the drain.
Blake is going to back out. He does have a tunnel if he needs it to get out of danger, and he will do it to reposition. Those Caitlyn traps blocking off a lot of this angle of attack, and the Mountain Drake will fall over to the Bulldog. Blake with the flash in. He's going to get knocked up with the Cyclone, goes into his own ults for a little bit of unstoppable. Choco Pie follows up over the top, and a Disintegration Ray will do a little bit of chip damage, but Stony Brook is really not getting on top of the Bulldog. And they'll counterattack with a Scion. All kinds of action happening as Beatless is the one who's going to bring this one home. A double kill as he picks it up onto the Caitlyn. It's 3 for 3 in the end. I didn't see German the Giraffe fall as well.
Obi Khan is way too late for this debuff.
But he still had a lot of impact.
Yes.
The Scion ult coming through. Definitely turned that as Choco Pie is going to get shut down. I don't know what he was doing there. Beatless is fine because he's so fed as the mid lane turret is going to fall. Now Beatless still trying to extend this play. Trying to go over the wall. Does hit his Imperial Chains. But
Choco Pie probably wanted Beatless help there. He felt secured, but did not expect Scoots to just go for a flanking kill.
yeah, so Choco Pie going to pick up his first death. And Stony Brook still up in gold. That is important to note. It's obviously all in that top lane lead. And look at Scoots now. He's 3-1-1, completed Trinity Force, and this Wukong is feeling great.
Wukong should be feeling great after securing the second Drake as well.
So are some potential advantages for the Bulldogs to play with.
Bulldogs does want to kill Beatless as there's a 550 gold bounty on Beatless. If the Caitlyn manages to get that, or Scoots, then this would be massive items buying for the champions.
I always remember back to when the second or third blue buff always used to go to the mid laners.
Yes.
And now, look at the junglers. Not only do they get to take their blue buff, but the blue buff is then also given over to whatever champion needs it.
As an ADC.
As an ADC, you would always take the red buff.
I would always take the red buff. I was like, screw you mid. This is my buff.
I'm the auto-attacking champion. I need it more than you do. As Beatless, up to 2 items completed already. Still with those kind of paper bag of boots. Not exactly an upgraded boot just yet, but wants to look for the damage. As he finds one knock-up onto Generic, who will quickly get out of dodge. It's an ultimate use.
Outer turrets are taken down for the Bulldog. And I like to mention that it's been taken by Beatless, all 3 of them.
Yep. So Beatless continues to funnel more gold into his back pocket as he's going to be collapse on right here. Should be able to get out before any CC comes through. Rock the Phoenix definitely not a 1v1 champion.
Beautiful.
So Beatless will be fine. Choco Pie will get some free time to farm against Obi Kana, as obviously they're not going to be able to kill each other even if they went all in. I mean, it's not exactly a tank with the Lissandra, but still wet noodle arms when it comes to 1v1.
You see the Bulldogs bot lane pushing in towards mid. There's no one covering mid right now for Stony Brook.
Beatless is making his way over, so he might favor his chances in a 1v3, especially underneath the tower. Obviously, always weird to see a team having their 1-3-1 become a 1-1-3, if you even want to call that. Mid-tier 1 will be taken down by the Bulldogs. Hiding Hide comes through just for a little bit of poke. I always hate that the Vel'Koz Q slows you as well.
Yes, especially as a Vel'Koz. If I'm going against a Vel'Koz support, that poke damage,
Yep.
I just constantly recall.
Yep.
Especially if your support does not tank anything or does not heal you enough, and you're kind of cooked.
So Stony Brook will get priority access down into this bot lane as they will start up what is the third objective of the game and potentially our first full 5v5. The Bulldogs are working in a little bit late.
They get spotted. Bulldogs does know that Stony Brook did start Otacon.
Otacon down to 2,300. This is going to be a full-fledged fight. Scoot's in there already. It's 2 for 2 as Stony Brook do get the Otacon. Now Beatless in a bad position. Has to fall back. Oh, he's so low. He goes back in. Stulitz with a double kill. Beatless with a double kill already. Gets onto Luke, but not able to finish the job. Shut down, unfortunately, for the Bulldogs. Goes on to Obi Kana. And Stony Brook kind of giving up a little bit of an advantage right there. They do get the Otacon, but they're up by less gold now.
And this is massive for the Bulldogs as the third Drake is being spawned. This should go towards the Bulldogs unless the Steevos want to flip it somehow with the Varus Q.
There's no smite in the Dragon fight, so German the Draft in theory has the most damage that he can do in a short amount of time. We're going to poke him out a little bit more. Luke doing a good job selecting German the Draft just to zone him out. Chocopie faking out that he's going to engage. Dragon down to 2,400, and Blake was able to come all the way back, so he's going to claim the Drake. Frozen 2 to continue the play as Luke's getting taken low and will be taken out. On the other side, German the Draft does fall to Scoots as Hiding High not in a good position, but here comes Beatless all the way back from the dead. Will tie up Scoots, gets away from the Inferial Chains, but he's going to be chased down by this Aatrox and dropped into the dirt. One more Q maybe coming through. Scoots, he's getting out actually. The clone forces him over the wall as Beatless will chase onto the other side of the map. In the meantime, Blake will go in for one more kill. And that's a Stony Brook wipe on the map, essentially. What the hell is going on?
Chocopie's fake engage towards Drake bought enough time for the Bulldogs to back out of the fight. And that allowed for Blake to just come in and just take the Drake away from the Bulldogs. As this is the first Drake for the Seawolves.
So Blake and Beatless were able to die, come back, get into the play. We didn't see Obi Kana get back into that play, so that's a little bit unfortunate for DeSales. As Beatless will continue to try to take these turrets. I don't think Generic can exactly do much to him in the one-on-one. Beatless will go forward, lands his change, and Generic forced once again just for a defensive ult.
This means that if there's another fight within like the next 2 minutes, Generic won't have ult. But like you mentioned during the draft, Generic not having ult does not really matter. Obviously, it's nice to use it, to have it, but it won't be that big of a difference.
As Stony Brook will just kind of reset on the map right now. Baron not up just yet for another objective to fight for as Hiding Hide's trying to make something of himself. Scoots is already so low. Beetle is dropping as well. Can't find the healing in time. That's a shutdown for Scoots. Now using the Blast Cone to get over that fat part of the wall. And Stony Brook not able to find him there, so a little bit of a mistake for Beatless, giving even more gold over to this Wukong and potentially extending this game. Now, there are no objectives to fight for, and that is critical.
Obviously the Bulldogs had no vision towards their B side, and that allowed Hiding High to try to find for an engage, but Beatless goes way too deep by himself. I think that's the issue with Beatless right now. He's in by himself. He has no team with him to back him up.
As Obi Kana, like his mid laner, defensive ult on the bot side of the map. And this is going to allow the Bulldogs to push up to that mid-tier 2. They might be able to take it before German the Draft gets over with the wave clear. as Root will come out onto Rock Phoenix, taken low, but not in a whole ton of danger. Flash forward, and a great shot from German the Giraffe. Follow-up play as Blake went really deep. Should be able to get to use the blast cone away. And German the Giraffe just snapping on the play right there. He knew he had the damage, and Rock Phoenix just not respecting it, even had the heal.
This was a nice pick from Stony Brook.
Blake using the slow, taken very low. No ult either for him. As Beatless is coming over, should have the speed with the World Ender. Trying to use the dash to get on top. Scoots is coming up as well with Luke, so this could be an extended fight. Beatless does get the kill onto Generic, and now Scoots will go away, knowing that he doesn't have the numbers, nor the damage, nor the money to take this.
Baron is up, and Stony Brook does have the numbers advantage, so they will start this off.
They don't have a ton of Baron damage, importantly. A poke Varus isn't going to do a whole lot to this big purple worm.
Obikana was spot side, not TPing towards the Baron.
Generic has TP up in 20 if they can delay this. Stony Brook looking for the snap engage. It's going to be a big dog pile as that favors Beatless, just trying to beat him down with the Qs. Obikana is low. Obikana taken as well. Rock Phoenix just trying to do what he can with Luke from long range, but it's not going to do much into this Stony Brook side. They'll take out the zombie form, and they can head back towards Baron. Potential flank coming out onto Luke as Beatless will go on another rampage, flashing forward. Look at that Aatrox damage as he'll find one more onto the ADC for the Bulldogs, and Stony Brook with an unofficial ace on the play.
Obikana is not able to find the backline. Hiding Hide and German the Giraffe is able to do so much damage towards the Bulldogs hyper carries.
So Scoots is back up. Could get to this Baron before it's dropped to make it a 50-50. That's really a question on if Stony Brook has enough damage. The way it's dropping right now, already at 8,000, 7,000, Stony Brook are going to get this uncontested. You see Blake in the chat pinging that dragon spawning in 22, so they got to recall quickly, reset, and get over to the dragon side. Beatless, already with so many items, not necessarily important for him to recall, but he will. Does has TP up if he wants to go and split off from his team.
Both teams don't have any vision towards this Drake. There's like one or two wards here and there in their jungle, but nothing, but just like no vision for either team to find and engage.
Scoots will step up onto Beatless. It's a 4-item Aatrox at 27 minutes. You know where the gold is. As Rock Phoenix is going to get jumped on, he's taken down instantly. Obikana extending the play with the unstoppable onslaught, and Generic looking for a little bit more damage. Finds it onto Hiding Hide. Rooted and stunned up for Beatless. He's being taken low, but still has a ton of regen. German the Giraffe finds Generic on the other side of the fight, and Beatless is unstoppable. The Bulldogs are being routed as their tankiest member is the last one to fall. Obikana can't do anything. Zombie form be damned as well, as the Seawolves should just rush up mid, probably taking all the way to the inhibitor and maybe the game.
I could see like one or two Nexus turrets being taken down, but I don't know about the game.
The game is going to be a little bit hard. Still 20 seconds left. They do have the Baron buff.
Only Rock Phoenix is alive. There's still 12 seconds on the Caitlyn to respawn.
As it looks like it's going to be a Nexus turret dive. Flash out from Rock Phoenix. Not going to matter. It's a second ace for Stony Brook. Beatless already popping the World Ender. They're on to the Nexus, and the Seawolves will have the time, just barely, to find game one of this best of three. 28-20 going to be the official time of the match. And holy crap.
27 kills to 13.
Beatless with a beat down against the Bulldogs, as we're going to take a break here for the intermission and be right back with match number 2 between Stony Brook and DeSales.
if Belis could get a huge advantage early game and shut down this Gragas, the Gragas won't be able to find much besides unengage with Exalt.
Absolutely.
Also, like we mentioned off camera, this will be Luke versus Belis.
Yep.
The two highest rank both for both
At least
teams.
that's how you imagine both teams to play the map.
So if I was the Bulldogs, I'll try to focus more on Luke. Allow Luke to get a lead compared to focusing on Obikano.
So it's going to be a Cassante mid for generic, and on the other side, a Galio coming out. Galio obviously very good at setting up top lane players. You know, I do always prefer, if you're going to pick a Galio in the mid, you know you want to carry on the top side, Camille. Complements so well with the Hextech ultimatum, lock someone in place for a little bit. You know, you get the Galio over the top, and that's just a very good way to win a game.
Or you go like towards like a circle draft, like have Gwen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have Aurora top. But the Galio means that we'll be seeing Chocopie be able to roam a lot with his ult and have a good team fight.
So, in response for Stony Brook, in order to try to hold on to this top lane advantage while not really give anything away bot, you're going to see an Ezreal Nami come out, a very safe lane. Obviously, Ezreal pretty much the safest AD carry that you can play. With the Arcane Shift, he can get so far away from the action. It's essentially a flash on a 20-second cooldown at some parts of the game. So that's always going to be something good to see for Stony Brook. If you're on the other side, Luke and Rock Phoenix with a Varus Taric bot lane, not a ton of kill threat, as long as you're respecting the distance of the Taric to come out with the stun.
Yes. So if the Taric is able to find a good stun, the Varus could like easily poke them out. But like you said, the Arcane Shift is very important for Stony Brook, as it will allow them to go back to safety, and Nami could be able to heal. Nami will be able to heal the Ezreal.
And we are also seeing two melee mid laners, two tankier mid laners. So I imagine we're going to get a lot more set 5-on-5 coming out from either side. And with that in mind, engage is always very important. Counter engage is very important. I kind of feel like the Bulldogs have the better of both worlds.
I think the Bulldogs has the better of both worlds, but it also depends on how useful can Obikana be. Will he be shut down like last game and be not, I wouldn't say completely useless, but what's his value on the team?
Yeah. As Gragas, the explosive cask will obviously help with disengaged is what I'm thinking about, as well as the Cosmic Radiance. You don't exactly want to be fighting into that. With Stony Brook, the Lilia can put people to sleep. That can obviously cancel out a lot of that Cosmic Radiance. How much of that interaction do you think we're going to see?
I think we'll see a decent amount of it. Like you said, depending on looking at this draft, both teams should be team fighting a lot. Yeah. And if Lilia could get a crazy ult down, that's huge for Stony Brook to find a good engage. So if the Bulldogs are all camped together and the Lilia gets like a 5-4-man stun, and the Lily is inside already, inside the Bulldogs team, the Galio could just ult in and just knock everyone up.
Absolutely.
It'll just be a stun after stun after stun.
And obviously, we were talking a little bit about 2020 Worlds before we get on to broadcast. We're in that world spirit. Maybe we can see another 9-man ult just like Spica got in the dying days of TSM.
Oh, that was so sad.
That
was 0-6 record.
That was probably the funniest thing that I've ever seen at Worlds. But hey, now you have FlyQuest to root for.
FlyQuest is a new TSM, but
better. But better, because they're not they're not TSM.
Yeah, I mean, they're going against G2 now, so
yeah, it's very topical.
Series.
It's going to be early in the morning. I don't exactly know what the Eastern Standard Time conversion is.
I think it's 4 a.m.
It's 4 a.m. I'm not up for that.
I might be up.
I'm not going to be up for that. I can tell you that much for free. I got an early class tomorrow. I got the history of Soviet-Russian history.
That's a class?
Yeah, it's a class. It's been an adventure, that's for sure. I showed up for a midterm with about 20 minutes studied. And then I was like, you know what? I think that's enough. I still haven't checked what I got. I don't even know if the grades are out, to be completely honest with you. But we'll get back to the League of Legends game in front of us. Enough about my my academics at the great SB. So, looking at a little bit more before we're through this spectator delay. 30 seconds left. Jungle matchup, we haven't talked a lot about it. Clear speed, obviously in favor of the Lilia. And we saw some more ganks coming out from Stony Brook's side. This time, however, Lilia doesn't have any CC until you get to level 6. So how much is that going to impact Stony Brook's game plan?
That'll obviously slow down Lilia's ability to gank. I don't expect the Lilia to look for anything. Maybe look for a flash being used. The most the Lilia could do is just slow them down.
Yep.
So I don't unless they get like a chain CC somehow, then I don't see this Lilia being useful that in their like early like 5-6 minutes of the game.
Obviously, the only CC that you can see in a top lane gank this game would be the counter strike coming out from Jax, and that's not exactly a long one or a reliable one at that. And while Gragas has a lot of ways to get away from danger, that big belly slam, that big beer gut of his can fly across the screen at ways that you would never see in real life. As we're officially on to Summoner's Rift for the second game. German Giraffe, no skin on the Ezreal. Using that base skin. Love to see that. Always love base skins.
I love the striker skin. Like, people like to say that striker skin is like a, I don't know. I consider it as like a, as my high win rate skin.
You have a skin you go to when you need to win a game?
Yeah, I think obviously this is like all like fake statistics, but
no, the vibes always matter. The aura of a skin always matters.
Also, there's nothing special to Striker Ezreal. You
can't get a win if you have a skin. Blake going to be looking like he'll start on the red side just like he did last game, and Scuts to do the same thing. We were talking about low CC on the early ganks for Stony Brook. Well, it's the opposite thing for the Bulldogs, as Volibear can gank early and often.
And once the Volibear does get the ult, then that's even more impact, as he will be able to stun the tower as well and look for a turret dive.
Obviously, you expect that to be used towards the bot side. The Cosmic Radiance into the Volibear disable of the turret. That's a potent dive combination right there. A lot of time where you wouldn't be able to take any damage from the turret, at least, in a little bit of time where you can't take damage, period. So generic with a non-generic mid lane pick, as we're seeing the K'Sante in mid for the first time, as he will be going against Chocopie as the Galio. Mid lane push, not exactly important right now, but once you get to that level 6 mark, it definitely will be, as both of these champions have a lot of gank setup, a lot of gank potential. Vila's
early game did invade towards the bots, towards the blue side, place the ward down. So Stony Brook does have vision on this Volibear. They know that he is starting towards top lane.
Seeing a lot of damage onto Hiding Hide right away. Like I said, not respectful of that Taric stun range, and you are going to take a whole lot of damage from this Varus, as there is the Arcane Shift to get away, as just a little bit of poke put down onto Rock Phoenix. Nice Mystic shots, hitting 2 in a row for German the Giraffe. It's exactly what you need to see from him, just continuing to keep this bottom lane at an even state. Up in the top side, Beatless already putting the wave into the turret and is up 7 CS right now.
The CS towards bot is equal. Game 1, we did see German the Giraffe down CS.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't a big advantage for Luke, but this game, they're pretty evened up. They are evened up.
As Luke stepping forward, they're not going to let anything go for the Stony Brook side. And they'll just continue to wave at each other, exchange a couple of skill shots back and forth. As Blake, looking to complete his full clear already, is just a couple of seconds ahead of the Volibear, as they're both onto their grubs at this point. Chocopie with some nice chunks. Obviously, having the AP shield on Galio's passive, not going to do a whole lot in this matchup, as Generic dashing forward, a little bit more damage onto Chocopie with the auto attacks. Mid lane, not exactly a big story last game, except for when the games came through. Flash forward, that's going to land onto German the Giraffe, but he does have the cleanse, not even going to need to use it, as he just arcane shifts away. That's an awkward flash coming out from Luke, nowhere near to execution damage, as we're going to go back to the top side. Beatless onto Obikana. Nice slam into turret range, as Beatless is going to lose that exchange. As Blake, I think he's looking for a double scuttle crab right now, not going to find the second one in the bottom lane river. As Luke now with no flash. This could be a solo kill and first blood for Chocopie. Generic not respectful of the damage. Auto attacks being traded, and German the Giraffe, you need a recall right now. One more Q coming out from Luke and you're gone. As, well,
Hiding High died.
anyway, I mean, speak too soon.
Caster cursed.
Caster curse right there. I'm sorry, Hiding High. That's my fault.
As German the Giraffe does have to back off. This will be turret plating for the Bulldogs bot lane. Actually, no, they can't get the turret plating down.
A little unfortunate there that they can't get any more gold before the recall, but 32 CS and a kill is definitely enough for a serrated Zerg to keep the pressure on Stony Brook's bot lane. Beatless, he's up in CS, importantly, 18 to 33 with an even wave state in front of both of these players. And well, Jax, he's going to scale the hardest out of really any champion in this game. You can argue for the Taric just because of the utility coming out from that Cosmic Radiance, but no one's going to be able to 1v1 the Jax late game, that's for sure.
Especially a Fed Jax, as this lane does look like it is favoring towards Jax right now.
What do you think of the Cole buy coming out from Beatless?
I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know how useful it'll be for him.
Obviously, it's going to generate the gold for him. You know, the whole passive, the way it works, we all know that. You get extra gold on every kill, then you get a little bonus gold once you complete the 100 stacks. So Beatless already at 25 of that. It was an early Cole purchase. I believe he used his teleport as it's down right now. As Chocopie looking for more damage onto Generic. An extra 300 gold on Galio, really just evening up that CS lead that Generic has built for himself. Or 400 gold, excuse me, with the first blood.
Like we mentioned, I want to go back to the first bot lane skirmish.
Yep.
Like we mentioned earlier, the arcane shift for the Ezreal is so useful. German the Giraffe didn't have to use any sums, only the E, but it was unfortunately ended up with Hiding High dying towards the later end of the fight.
Chocopie once again seeing his HP bar diminish. Not exactly a great trading pattern for him onto the Cassante, but I really wouldn't blame Chocopie if he's never played this matchup before. It's not exactly a common one.
Yeah, Cassante is towards top. We just see him play top. There was this time where Cassante was really strong. A lot of pro players did pick him.
Yep.
These days, he's not a value pick. With Fearless Trap being a thing, it will be like towards like a game 5 pick, game 4 pick for these pro players. So it's interesting to see a Cassante mid for Generic.
As the first dragon's going to be started up by the Bulldogs. Blake, not level 6, so he's not going to have a huge impact. Is going to look to wall up in. Poke not landing from German the Giraffe as Blake is taken down by by half of his HP bar.
At this point, Stony Brook does have to give up this Drake, but that's only one objective out of 3. And we saw how the early Drake didn't matter for game 1.
Because Beatless was able to take the top tower and they got to 3 kills first. But this time it might be a little bit harder. As good as I was saying Sion's wave clear was in game 1, well, Gragas can do the same thing here in game 2.
It's also the fact that, like with the Lilia pick, does not have level 6. Well, just got level 6, but without level 6, you can't really look for a gank. So Beatless won't be having any help. Nice sidestep there from Beatless is going to force the explosive task out. Only using the counter-strike, so that's obviously a great trade for him. As German the Giraffe just trying to farm under tower right now. It's 69 to 49 CS. Obviously, German the Giraffe can pick up a couple of these here, but it's still going to be a considerable CS lead for Luke. As the Void Grubs will spawn, Stony Brook control the top side of the map, so that's an obvious next objective. Now, German the Giraffe is down CS by around 20. It's not that big.
Chains of Corruption is going to hit right onto Hiding High. He doesn't really have a lot of ability to get out. Tsunami to buy a second, and he will be able to waddle his way. I don't know. It's a bunch of fish legs. Swim, but he's on land.
I'd say swim.
He did something to get away. It's a fish on land. It's not exactly the most common thing you see as a cleanse is used by German the Giraffe.
Scoots is looking for a flank.
Luke
does have the ult.
Is owned, but this is going to be a volley bear at 6. This is exactly what we were talking about. Stun goes on to Hiding High. There's the Cosmic Radiance, and the tower is turned off. Trying to get away with the Arcane Shift, but Rock Phoenix flash on the follow. Blue team gets Feats of Warfare, and that's a well-executed dive for the Bulldogs.
Hiding High does get a trade kill towards against Scoot. And this also gives the opportunity for Stony Brook to get Void Grubs. So the objectives are tied 1-1. But Stony Brook has their only option is to get the next 2 objectives and get a first turret.
So Stony Brook falling behind on pretty much every part of the map. We heard one potential way to get back into the game. Dragon fight should be coming up again in just a couple of minutes. You expecting Stony Brook to go for it, or maybe just look to farm and split push with Beatless and try to stall out this game for a little bit?
Seeing that German the Giraffe and Hiding Hide it's like they are losing lane a little bit.
We have to hold that thought as the sleep could come here onto Obikana. Beatless is and low as well. Blake trying to get the damage, missing that second Q. Beatless could go in, looks for the auto, and doesn't even have to flash out. Takes one turret shot, the Triumph to heal him. Importantly, from the Summoners, not the Summoners, excuse me. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The Triumph coming out, as I have a momentary brain fart as we pass 10 minutes into this second map. Can't even make the excuse that it's late right now. It's not late, it's 9:42. Might be unk, but I'm not that old. As the bubble not going to hit from Nami, in this bot lane tower getting continuously lower. Luke should be able to take it soon enough as the Rage Blade completed. So he's looking for not a poke Varus, but a team fight oriented carry. I'm going to 1v9 this game kind of Varus.
You go see the crazy attacks being played.
As Chocopi does get the taunt, but not in turret range, unfortunately for him. Blake
gets spotted towards towards bot, as maybe this will get the dive.
Yeah, this should get the tower down, as the Gromp is going to be stolen away from Blake, who is up in CS. Importantly, that's something you have to do as the Lilia, especially considering that you're not going to nearly have as much map impact on the early part of the game.
The Bulldogs are focusing really towards the bot lane. Look at the vision towards the river and this dragon. It has like some control wards, and they have like deep vision towards the blue, towards the Stony Brook blue buff.
You know what this draft is reminding me of from the Bulldogs?
Which one?
This is reminding me of like 2018 RNG as a flash forward right away from Luke. That's going to catch out Hiding Hide. Getting the heroic entrance over the top. Might be able to survive this. Scoots not able to find the last bit of damage. And Stony Brook can continue to beat them down. Rock Phoenix should drop here. Jax is coming in from the bot side. That's important to note if Stony Brook can delay. One kill over. That's Chocopi dead. Cosmic Radiance is out, and here comes Beatless. He'll let that fade away. Comes in with the flash. Then gets onto the bat line. Two-man counter-strike. Finds the first kill. Stony Brook continuing to fly forward. Two more men asleep as Scoots is going to fall. Triple kill for German the Giraffe, and they'll finish off the fourth. Obikana just saying, hey guys, what you doing down there? 4 people dead, and the Seawolves are in control.
This was important because Obikana did not have TP. He used TP earlier to get back to lane, which meant Obikana cannot follow a B-list towards bot lane, and the Bulldogs did overextend a little bit too much.
You know what I'd be doing right now if I was in this game?
What would you be doing?
I'd press enter, and I press TOP space GAP, enter.
It is a top gap for both games. Vila's find these opportunities while Obikana just gets to push in top. Doesn't only get 1 turret plating gold, and that won't help him that much. As we will see a Chemtech soul for this game.
That's interesting. Chemtech soul, we've seen a lot of changes to it over the years. I mean, the original form of it was just
an extra GA, right?
Yeah, it was just disgustingly broken. They quickly hot patched that. Remember the fog as well?
Yeah, like it'll give you like a speed boost.
I'm really not helping my Unk narratives right now, the way that I'm reminiscing on the old Chemtech trait.
I mean, I'm young, but I just been watching League, been playing League for a really long time.
Yeah.
So I get this knowledge.
If you've been around long enough, you know what I'm talking about. That's not even particularly what I would consider long ago. What I consider long ago is before the current map of Runeterra got changed. That's long ago.
The top and bot side
yeah.
Looking completely different.
Yep. So Stony Brook into a 1,000 gold lead after having a bit of a rough bot lane to start off. But German the Giraffe, he's at 204, now 207 on the tier with a completed Trinity Force, and he's right back into the game. And as the Ezreal, once you get over that early game hump, you just feel really great for the rest of it. I mean, you're going to be able to kite out all of these players on the enemy team. Like, Volibear's not going to get on top of you. Cassante definitely can, but if you get some peel from Nami, you can theoretically survive a whole team fight even if you have 4 men jumping.
Volibear is really far behind CS.
And the Cosmic Drive, he's not exactly tanky either. Scoots isn't going to be feeling good as they're going to go all out for this tier 1 turret in the mid lane. Drowsy will put 3 more men to sleep. That's a kill for Blight. Gets the heal from Hiding Hide. Now German the Giraffe is trying to go one-on-one in the back line. Picks up another kill, and Nami will finish it off onto Skuts. That's another 3 kills for the mid lane turret. Bulldogs, what are you doing right there?
Scoots is not able to help out Luke that much. Luke is just getting poked out. The Seawolves does find an angle, and they just go for it. The early game for Bulldog is completely gone. Their goalie is gone. The only good thing for them, going for them right now, is that they do have Fleet after getting the bot tier 1.
And you could say in theory that they will be able to team fight in the late game anyways. This Varus will scale nicely considering that it's going for the attack beats build. And, you know, you look down at Stony Brook's side, not exactly the best scaling champions in the game, but you have an advantage in jungle, and you have an advantage in top. Those are 2 things you can say for sure. And Beatless, if all else fails, can just, hey, let's go into a 1-3-1, and let's just split push to win the game.
Rift Herald is up. We can see a team fight there. Obi-Kana does have TP compared to Beatless, but the TP should be coming back up before the next team fight.
What do you think of this skin as well from Beatless? I love the Mecha Kingdom skin.
I think it's a cool skin line. I like the Mecha Kingdom set, I think. I think that skin is
That's
cool.
a good one as well. As we are going to see the Counter-Strike committed from Beatless. That's a big cooldown to already use. Gets the press the attack already activated, and is just going to beat down this K'Sante shield, and the all-out will get a little bit of space. Beatless going back in, taking 1 turret shot. He's low on mana, so you're going to have to hold your breath, and we might not get a second to do that as it's an awkward shutdown in the bot lane. Beatless is going to get taken down. Could get a fight coming onto the top side as Chocopie not in a good situation. 4 members collapsing instantly onto him, and his team is nowhere close. Chocopie just in no man's land as that's 2 quick kills for the Bulldogs, and they'll look to start the Rift Herald.
This will cut the goalie by around 1,000. Like maybe trying to flip it, maybe going for a steal.
I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you can right now. Giving up another kill over to the Bulldogs, I don't think that's worth it for a 50-50 on the Rift Herald. So, a lot of momentum taken back by DeSales now. They have a chance to win this game after blowing it really in the bot side.
Beatless is still not behind though. Obi-Kana has not completed a single item yet.
Well, the interesting thing, obviously, we saw it. Generic now switched down for the matchup against Beatless. That is something you can do after playing K'Sante mid. And it's what we saw last game. Beatless obviously ended up matching up against Generic on the Aurora.
They just want Obi-Kana to just farm. Just
Yeah.
get that gold up, try to complete as much item as you can, and just try to be useful for the later team fights.
And Chocopie is not going to be a threat to him.
Chocopie will only be a threat towards Luke. Bulldogs are really extremely tanky this game.
Yeah. Again, it's like I was saying with the RNG Protect the Pup and Uzi compositions where you just saw 4 players trying to keep their 80 carry alive.
It's unfortunate Uzi never won.
Yeah, Uzi still the greatest player of all time to never win a Worlds title. Don't even debate me on that.
What about Caps?
Nope.
Not even Caps?
Nope.
Yeah.
Caps was good, but he never reached the individual peak of Uzi.
Uzi does have an MSI title at least to his name.
He does, and so does Caps.
Yeah. But just knowing China just better than EU.
Yeah. So is the LCK.
Yeah.
So is NA. As a lilting lullaby with a little bit of range, Tsunami over the top. Rock Phoenix is going to cancel that out with his own Cosmic Radiance, and all of a sudden a Strum breaking out of nowhere. German the Giraffe not able to get a lot of damage down, and one more follow-up kill comes for Scoots. Stony Brook are going to have to back up. Beatless is joining the fight from the right side of your screen, but I don't think Ajax is really going to be doing a whole lot right here. Yeah. Again, the reason that Beatless was so great in that first team fight is all the big cooldowns were already used, and he was just able to flash right onto the back line. Beatless now stepping forward. He's going to get change CC'd. Chocopie trying to buy some space for his star player and is getting some good damage down onto Luke, but he's going to drop, and his other team is just zoned completely by Generic. Beatless is just going to have to back out, as Hiding Hide was the only other member of the Seawolves to survive that whole exchange, and now it's a bigger and bigger gold lead and more objectives over the way of the Bulldogs.
This is 1K goal lead towards the Bulldog now. We've seen the goal graph for this game. It'll be the Bulldogs ahead then Stony Brook coming back, but now it's in the favor of the Bulldogs.
Feel like me trying to play golf. The ball's off to one side, then the ball's off to the other side. Where the hell is it going? I don't exactly know. And where we're going to end up, I don't know that either.
This is anyone's game right now.
Anyone's game. As again, we talked about it. Stony Brook have non-conventional ways to win this game. I mean, you look at a Lilia, Ezreal, Nami. It's not the greatest wave clear, but they definitely have a lot of great delay on these waves. And a Galio and Jax can 1v1 very effectively.
We talked about this during off camera. I think it might have been before the game started, before this match, this entire series has started. But if the game goes towards late game, and one team fight could just determine who wins the game, which I could slightly expect for that scenario to happen for this game.
Additionally, when you think about the fact that this is an 80 carry centric composition, if you kill the Varus, I mean that's all the damage gone. If you kill the Varus, no one is going to touch this Jax.
The Bulldogs is able to play Protective President really well so far. The Varus has been only taken down twice.
You know, and you got to continue that if you are DeSales. As we're going to see a fight towards the Otacon in the bot lane, as we are past 20 minutes in this matchup. Importantly, Beatless without teleport, so he can't be split off from the play, and Generic does. So the longer this standoff goes, the more of an advantage it will be for the Bulldogs.
Chocobai could recall and just try to counteract Generic, as he does have TP up.
And obviously the heroic entrance can act as a secondary form of TP, depending on what side of the map he wants to be off to. Scoots is walking up. Counter-Strike is going to force the ultimate away. That's a big blown summoner, but a Tsunami coming out from Hiding Hide a little bit late. That's a mental error right there. That's a big peeling ultimate used.
Generic pushing in top. He might be able to get the tower, but at the cost of Otacon maybe, but he does have TP.
But his team can still fight this. Here comes the TP now from Generic. They're going to go instantly onto Obi Kana, drop him with the Jax. Is a little bit lower, and it's not exactly like the Gragas is the most important player on this team. Generic just trying to zone. A nice stun from Rock Phoenix. Chocopai is going to get into the mix of it. The Otacon did go down, and Scoots got it. Not a lot of a fight breaking out. Generic might be the sacrificial lamb. Beatless stepping up, and then is instantly going to fade away. Jumping forward with the Counter-Strike activated. Luke turning around with a couple of arrows. And that was just a really slow burn of a team fight. I think the Bulldogs are fine with it, considering they got the Otacon. They lost 2. They will lose the bot tower as well.
They use Generic as sacrificial lamb.
And Obi Kana just before that. But again, I said it. It's not exactly like this Gragas is the most important player on the Bulldogs team. It's obviously the Varus. It's always going to be the Varus.
As long as Obi Kana could tank and maybe find a crazy R, then maybe it'll be maybe Obi Kana will be really useful. But other than that, it's always focused Varus, but Varus has not been taken down yet.
Again, it's so hard through the Cosmic Radiance, through all the CC that the Bulldogs have.
Do you think this scenario, the Otacon fight could have been different if Nami did have the ult?
It definitely could have extended it for a little bit. I mean, Stony Brook still won the fight, but the Bulldogs didn't really commit too hard for it. It looks like they were objective first.
It's a 1.3 goal lead for Stony Brook now.
And again, I think a lot of this game, a lot of these team fights could come down to flanks, because Stony Brook have a couple of champions that can do well on flanks. Obviously, Galio is about a 50-50 if you want to be flanking. A Flash Taunt can do a whole lot for you, but Lilia and Jax are both great champions to have on the flank.
This game is still very unknown. Who's going to win? Obviously, Stony Brook does have a slight advantage, but we can see Stony Brook throw again, just like the second to recent fight.
As taking stock of the advantages of either side, 2-1 are the Dragons in favor of DeSales. And you look over towards Stony Brook's advantages, well, it's a big, big CS lead in the top lane, and obviously that Jax is continuing to scale. Already 2 completed items. This time last game, though, remember, Beatless had essentially had a full inventory of items.
Right now, Beatless doesn't have too big an advantage.
As the next Chemtech Drake is up, so we could be seeing a fight here. TP from Obikana will go onto the bot wave to join his team. Beatless is an unknown factor right now. Actually just got spotted out on a ward. And it looks like Stony Brook might have to sack this dragon as they're extremely late to it. Blake sweeping these wards and trying to step up with his team. Lilting Lullaby onto 2, and he'll try to activate off of that. Obikana steps away, but he's taken out. Blake with a nice 1 kill, and the Cosmic Radiance isn't going to do a whole lot. I'm pretty sure the Bulldogs just have to run away from this. They did get the Chemtech Dragon, and they're onto Soul Point.
It's an offensive heal used by Hiding Hide, trying to get that speed up.
Generic will be slowed down, jumped on now, Counter-Strike pushed into the team accidentally. Beatless is taken low, about half of his HP bar is gone, and that should do it for this little scuffle. No more fists will be thrown, everyone will reset. Baron has spawned, but I don't even think Stony Brook can go for it. Obikana would be back in time for a Baron fight if it was at all extended.
After game 1 ended, we did look at the how impactful Beatless was, and he had around like 37% of damage, right?
Yep, 37.1% of his team damage.
I feel like this game is so different to a point that Beatless hasn't had that big of an impact. But he like we said earlier, he does have the potential to scale so much.
Yep. And even think about how far behind Luke fell in that game. Still did 35% of his team damage, 10% more than Generic, who was on an Aurora. So now with more eggs put into his basket, you're expecting that to go up to like 40% if you're being honest.
I mean, at the end of the day, it makes sense because Luke is their Grandmaster player.
So we're going to see if... might say every team fight is important in League of Legends, but we might see a very, very important team fight coming up in a couple of minutes as this Chemtech Dragon will respawn with the Bulldogs on Soul Point. I don't think if you're Stony Brook, you can give that way without some kind of contest. We could see a Baron dance break out beforehand, though.
I think whoever gets Baron will be able to get a really strong push in, and that could change the favor of the Drake fight.
As the stun will go down onto Generic. Beatless just trying for these smacks with the Lantern again. Gets the second Counter-Strike activated as both players seem content to go all in on this very fight. Generic is being taken low. Now goes for the all-out. Misses the Q there. Beatless using the ultimate cooldown for himself, and they'll both walk away just a little bit injured.
First all in the miss, goes wide. But so does the bowling ball from the Lilia.
Chains of Corruptions will be down for the next about 30 seconds. Again, it's a shorter cooldown for the Varus.
That's what I like about playing ADC. Their all cooldowns are really
Luke with a lot of damage. Hiding Hide, he's going to be taken out of nowhere. German to draft has to flash away, and so does Blake. That's the damage that we're talking about from Luke using an offensive flash. Lilting Lullaby will go down onto Luke, and that forces a Cosmic Radiance cooldown away from Rock Phoenix. That's not going to be up for this Baron fight. It's a 4-on-5 for the map. Stony Brook likely going to have to fight this dragon despite being at the number disadvantage.
Unlike German to Giraffe's Varus, this Luke's Varus is able to do crazy amount of damage towards the Baron.
And it's going to be able to take this down so incredibly quickly. I don't know if Stony Brook are going to get it into position in order to fight this. Blake is being zoned off by Rock Phoenix as well. Needs to get into the pit, but that's the Nash already down. TP coming out from Generic as Choco Pie is in the middle of the team, and Stony Brook really don't have any engage options. Beatless is off to the left side of the screen. He'll jump onto Generic, look for the Counter-Strike. Generic has plenty of ways to get away from this, and it's just a Baron, and they're out.
I like to point out the fact that the Lilia had no ultimate. The Lullaby was used earlier before the Baron fight, just on Luke, but that was instantly counteracted by the Taric ult.
So German the Giraffe, he's going to try to get whatever mid-lane turret damage he can down, but this is going to be a great siege coming out from the Bulldogs. They have all the tools for it, and Luke looks so dangerous right now on this kind of hybrid leaning towards AP Varus. He's building the Zhonya's Hourglass. He has the Seeker's Arm Guard right now to activate, so that's just another layer of protection.
This also gives the Bulldogs an advantage of being able to they're ahead of Drake, so they could give this Drake out to Stony Brook and instead push in waves and allow them to maybe get in him, or at least towards the end of turret.
As we're gonna see a Dragon Dance come out. Close to the title of a book, Dance of Dragons.
Never heard that.
Never heard of that?
No.
Game of Thrones?
No, I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Game of Thrones is like an unk thing. Maybe you are an unk.
No, I'm not that old. Game of Thrones was popular when you were of age to watch it, I think. I don't know.
Counter-Strike finds nothing.
It's short enough cooldown, not exactly worried about it. Taking stock of the flashes right now, importantly, Luke without his. And Beatless does have a flash to use. The Jax could get on top of Varus,
like I mentioned,
potentially take him out of the fight, but it's just going to be a sacrifice drag. I don't necessarily dislike this, as this could be 2 inhibitor turrets down right away.
This is literally what I mentioned right before the fight.
Yeah.
Right before the dragon even taken out.
Got your crystal ball out right there.
The Drake advantage does allow for the Bulldogs to just push in.
I might have overreacted a little bit. Not 2 inhibitor turrets, just the 1, as Obikana was forced away very quickly.
He did go towards mid because he expected for the Sequels to come up.
Yep.
So he was just there just for the protection, but that also gives up the opportunity to seize the inhib turret.
So they go down to the bot side now, trying to find the last remaining tier 2.
They're using a 4-1 configuration here. Obikana is able to push in mid. Maybe we'll be able to get the inhib.
Very aggressive from Rock Phoenix. He's going to take a couple of tower shots. Here comes out the Cosmic Radiance. Luke, again, no flash for this team fight. Obikana with the body slam over the wall, not going to connect onto Chocopie. And I think both these teams just going to stare at each other. Blake racing forward now, a couple of stacks. So this Deer's got plenty of speed. Gets the Lilting Lullaby onto Luke, but he's far enough away from everyone else that there's not going to be a whole lot of damage. And his team is peeling so damn well for him. Shutdown will actually go for Beatless in the backline. I didn't even see that on the screen. That's huge for the Seawolves as they'll continue to race forward. Obikana should be raced down the slow from Blake, and he has so much speed in order to get onto this fat Gragas. He's into the grave, and Stony Brook with a nice 4 for nothing.
I don't even know what happened. That was off our screen, but somehow Beatless goes for a flank.
It was exactly what I was talking about. He had the flash up on the Jax, ended up using that in the flight. No flash to follow from Luke. And a counter-strike, I assume, into a couple of lamp hits. I mean, I wouldn't survive that.
You talked about how well the Bulldogs were doing, protecting Luke. And as soon as you said that, you gave the caster curse towards them.
Well, I mean, you know, I think I can take credit for that one. It did help out Stony Brook, after all.
As the goalie is up for the Stony Brook's favor by 2K. Almost 3K.
At this point of the game, it's not exactly the biggest lead, but I do want to point out the fact that German the Giraffe, despite, again, we've been talking about Luke as this big carry threat. German the Giraffe is quietly 6-2 and 5. He has his completed Murmana. He's had the Trinity Force for a while. He has the Grudge to follow it up. So he has plenty of damage in order to eat through, I mean, these kind of hybrid tanks coming out on the side for the Bulldogs. I mean, you know, Skuts isn't very tanky by any stretch of the imagination.
That's hide. Will be caught out in mid lane.
He's done that a few times this game, but the problem is if a German Giraffe gets caught out, that's a big problem. Has to flash away from Skuts. Uses a follow-up and a flash for the ultimate from Varus. That's not actually going to do anything.
The Blast Cone's does help German the Giraffe a lot.
And that's really bad now for Luke because he's once again out of flash, and this time Stony Brook have both Blake and Chocopie that can get on top of him.
Bulldogs really have to play Protect the President right now. Just let Luke farm, let Luke do all the damage, try to take out German the Giraffe before Luke does die.
So Obikana, he's likely going to have to save this explosive task for any potential flash coming out from Chocopie or Blake. If Stony Brook are going to play it well, they will layer those flashes in order to get on top of this all-important AD carry for DeSales.
You see Bulldogs going towards top lane. The Baron is spawning very soon, as both teams are positioning towards it. Chocopie pushing in bot, now running away towards mid. Obikana looking for an angle, is going to run into Chocopie, but that's just a little skirmish with nothing being done.
Yeah, those guys don't exactly have enough damage to kill each other.
They're just tanky.
Yeah, they're just, again, well, I mean, Chocopie is definitely more tanky. Going an actual tank item compared to his opposition, who's kind of just AP that also builds a little bit of health. As Beatless, we've seen him go all in against Generic a couple of times, but he does have more items out, and certainly it's the Blade of the Rune King that will make such a big difference. This is what we're talking about. Late game Jax, I'm going to beat your face in, I'm going to walk back, heal off the wave, but hey, if there's 4 more bodies showing up, Beatless isn't going to like his odds all of a sudden. Counter-Strike, heroic entrance over the top. Obi-Khan is being taken low. Luke, again, he has no flash. Chains of Corruption. Tsunami could hit onto the backside. Luke is being zoned from his team. It's a 3-on-1 against Luke. He has to get out of there as Beatless will go onto a killing spree. Obi-Khan into the grave, and there's chaos all over the place. German, the Giraffe, does find the Varus, and Stony Brook with an absolute rout on Summoner's Rift. Baron is going to be their prize as they're in firm control of game number 2.
This has been a very interesting game. It's been back-to-back, but now Stony Brook finds a good angle and is able to get Baron. They're going to be rotating towards bot for this Chemtech, and they'll be on soul point as well.
So the Baron will be taken down eventually. Hiding Hide, you might die. You do have to get out of there, as it's going to be German the Giraffe finishing out. Like you were saying, Chemtech also going to drop in favor of Stony Brook. They're going to even it up to a 3-3 advantage on the Dragon. Soul point for both teams now, but I don't even know if we're going to get to a deciding Dragon.
I don't think we will. I think one team fights towards mid push, as they do have Baron buff now. So if Stony Brook could get a lot of turrets and try to find for an angle, find for a dive, then if they win that game, if they win that team fight, then the game is over.
And again, Luke still without flash, so Stony Brook can try to use that advantage.
That was a clean ace by Stony Brook. German the Giraffe now 8-2 and 6. He has the gold, he has the items, and he has Arcane Shift still. So
he'll always have that one.
So he could just go in, go out, try to poke Luke out a little bit whenever he can.
All right, so again, we got to take stock of everything that's going down. 3 Dragons to 3. And Stony Brook definitely have more carry threats. Beatless can carry a fight. Light can carry a fight. German the Giraffe can carry a fight. Realistically, on the other side, it's just Luke. Has 3/4 of his cooldown on the flash back. He needs to have that up before his team can truly win something on the map.
I feel like Generic could have done more if he didn't lose 1v1s towards Beatless during these skirmishes towards top and bot. But always losing these skirmishes allowed him to just fall behind and allow Beatless to become really strong. And we saw Beatless have that angle when the Bulldogs were seizing towards bot.
Like, he could try to slow play this. Generic getting caught up. Lilting Lullaby can come over the top. As now, looks like Generic, he wants this fight. Going forward onto Blake, not going to hit any CC there. A great interrupt on the Tsunami, and now everything's going to go all out. Heroic punch over the top. There needs to be a TP from Beatless. He's actually going to be a one-on-one in the base. Luke is going low, still does not have flash. One more hit should kill him off, and he's once again dropped. 54 seconds on the Varus, and his team can't do anything else.
Beatless
a 1v1 for Beatless on top of that, and the Stony Brook Seawolves will take this match at a score of 2-0. This time a 40-minute banger in order to secure it, but they got it done nonetheless.
I said one team fights would just end the game at all, and we unfortunately couldn't see the soul fight, which I think would have been very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it definitely would have been. And, well, that's all we're going to have for you on this broadcast here on the SBU Esports Twitch page. We hope you enjoyed this 2-0 matchup as Stony Brook do take down DeSales. And we will be back for more broadcasts in the future.